far in my property. They pulled my property pin out. I'd like you to correct it.
We pulled a pin, we measured it from the telephone pole, and we put it back in the exact same spot.
You dug out 3.5, 4 feet, and you put it exactly in the same spot. I was standing right there. You totally pulled it out.
We measured.
Can't.
It's
you can't,
illegal
it's
to do that, for one.
Right.
And
You could have dug around the pin, pushed it down in, right?
We
That would've been the
can't
logic.
even touch our property pin. We paid Strack when we bought the house 10 years ago.
Right.
To do that. All those numbers are on our abstract, and they're incorrect. So who is going to approve something for someone to come put our pin back? Because we plan on selling our house, so.
You can't take a tape measure and measure over.
We watched
the
them do
surveyor
it.
does.
I probably
It's
have it on
transit,
video because I
right?
was on vacation.
That's what I'm trying to say.
This has been nothing but a nightmare for us. We aren't here to cause grief. We're taxpayers. We've been for years. 2 of our kids have graduated from here. We still have a child in school here. You were my teacher. You were my classmate. Teachers. This is ridiculous. I mean, it's caused us a lot of grief, and we can't get any answers. I've been insulted by the supervisor. The only person that's treated me right is this lady right here when I went to her office, and Brian. So I just think something should be corrected in this town. We have a lot of supportive people. We don't want to drag this out. We just want some answers. We want it fixed. Everyone's avoiding us. We can't get a good answer.
Mrs. Jones, when you say you want something fixed, please be specific to me.
Well, we need our PIN put back into our property for one, where we paid.
In the right spot.
Correct.
It was surveyed in 2002.
So that's one.
That's, okay.
Another issue we have is a safety issue. I can tell you I ran a garage sale about a month ago. They couldn't even pull off to the side of the road. One guy fell into the ditch because there's no shoulder on the side of the road. It's a huge safety issue. We've been there 10 years. I can tell you on our side ditch, which we've had since we moved into the house. Does everyone know where we are also, so you have an idea of where I am? Paul Post. He's my neighbor. His land was exactly like ours, straight flat to the road. And Frank, you know as well as I do, when you knocked on the door, it was to replace the pipe at the end of the driveway. We had no clue, as did the Flurries down the road, what was going on there.
I talked to everybody, and,
No, you did not tell us
okay,
that,
yes,
Frank.
We talked to everybody.
Frank, you did not tell us
Yes,
that. I'm
I
telling you
just-
right now.
Wait, now, please. Each has a chance to speak, but let them.
I'd like to know what constitutes digging that ditch.
Right here, I've got 3 out of my logbook. I've got 3 or 4 times I was over there at 6:13. I'm plugging the culvert in the wintertime because it freezes up. Once it freezes, the water comes onto the road. The natural flow of the water. What are you shaking your head for?
The Flurries have lived there for 30 years. We've had this conversation with
I
the
got a
Flurries.
record. You think I just write it in my book because I
We
want
asked
something
you
to
for
do?
this, you couldn't produce it to us.
I got it right here. I don't have
We
to.
asked.
It's right here.
We asked.
I got it. It's right here. So anyways, the natural flow of the water is back towards your property. The culvert that takes the water away runs underneath the road to the riverside. You can't make water run up there.
Correct?
The grading's incorrect.
But the grade had to be
Yes.
that much?
Yes.
It had to be
The
that
water run
way.
that way, yes.
No,
It
I
had to
have
be 14
pictures
feet
here.
wide, 4 feet deep. This ditch starts at
Yes.
4.5 feet
Yes.
wide, a
It
foot
was
and a
all
half
shot
deep,
with it.
and goes down to my house and it's
14
4 foot
feet
deep,
wide.
14 feet wide.
Shot it with a transit.
Oh, yeah, but, I mean, for a culvert, I mean, there's a small culvert in the Flurries that had a concrete driveway, right?
Because,
Yes.
because you can't put any bigger piece of culvert in there because you can't go any lower because the culvert would be in a hole.
Where's the water source coming from? This is what I want to
It's
know.
gonna melt from the snow and stuff during the winter months.
Nobody has ever, and I've talked to Wayne and Ann Fleury, that you say this issue happened there. They said one night, in the middle of the night, they seen a light flashing outside. They went outside and it was you, not you personally, but the town, steaming something underneath. And they're the ones with a concrete driveway, single wide, culverts maybe this big around.
Yep.
Understandable, it's gonna happen. We've had a lot of snow in previous years, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying now is, we've lived there 10 years and there's never been an issue. Never any kind of water.
It's not a water issue. The water
Snow,
issue
the
is-
snow either, I know. We've taken care of this for years and years and years.
The water issue is at 613 North Racket. The only way the water can get away from the culvert, or from the culvert, is down towards your property.
So
Like
are you gonna address the
reestablishing
safety issue on this?
If you wanna go down to, 905 North Racket, 1105 North Racket, you see a very similar ditch there.
No.
You go over to South Grass, you'll see a very similar ditch over there.
The one in South Grass that you just did also is in an open field, not in front of somebody's
Right,
residence.
and not in the front yard, right? I mean, less aggressive ditch wouldn't have done the job.
I did a lot of talking with Mrs. Jones, and I'm
You
not gonna
didn't really
get-
talk to me a lot, Frank. You really didn't, let's be honest.
Okay,
I
I'm
mean,
being-
I know, I wouldn't be this
And I'm
upset if
being
I
honest,
had some
and I'm not
answers.
gonna give any more names because we've been run through the internet, the Facebook, the pictures, over and
Absolutely.
over again.
If you did something and
And-
you're proud of it, you wouldn't mind having your name put on it. That's the way we look at
Put
it.
my name on it,
And
say
Mr.
there's-
Gray was the one that called for them to come do the story on the front page of the paper.
Yeah,
We didn't want
You
this.
called it.
This is ridiculous.
Anyways,
We don't make headlines in the papers over
I
this.
have.
We're taxpayers.
I have a sign, I have something signed by 3 town employees, I'm not gonna say who they are, that said they had conversation with Mr. Jones and said what they were doing, and Mr. Jones says, do what you have to do.
Ah,
Do what I have to do. I didn't say you could come on my property and say, pull my
The
pin.
reason
I said,
the reason we're probably on
I-
your property is because I talked to Mrs. Jones and said, we will slope this ditch for you so it'll be easier for you to maintain.
no, that is such a lie, Frank, and you know as well as I do.
I'm not lying.
And I'll tell you
Don't
what,
call me a liar.
Gary
ever
Stiles-
again. Don't call
That's
me a
Jerry
liar ever
Stiles
again.
just came and mowed that ditch and he got stuck. The big mower got
Because
stuck.
it's not made for that. It's made to be pan.
How you to maintain this? It looks like crap.
I told you, go down to 905 North Racket and 1105 North Racket, they mow their ditch. They mow their ditch and their ditch is as
Who's
deep as.
yeah, I got a ditch on the other side they did 8 years ago.
Yeah,
And
and
it's
it was
totally
maintainable. We
reasonable,
could do
you
that.
know, and they, they
The reason
seeded
your
it, they hate
ditch,
it,
the
they
reason your ditch.
spent $6,000 hydro seeding,
Okay,
right?
I got the bill right here. Okay, here's another good one.
Frank,
It was 700.
hold up, Frank. I'm gonna ask, what did our highway department do down there? You got
We
911?
reestablished the ditch.
Okay, no,
There was no ditch.
excuse me, Mrs. Jones.
Sorry.
That's why we reestablished the ditch.
Frank, what was exactly done and what was the cost? Do you have that information?
I have the cost of the hydro seeding was not $6,000.
That's what the man who did it told us.
What was the bill?
$740, and $440 of that was the mat that I put in front of yours for the erosion mat, in front of your house.
That's not what the man who did it told us.
I got the bill right here.
He told us there wasn't enough stuff in the soil to
Frank,
even
this
grow
was-
grass in it, he told us.
And it still hasn't grown on one half of it,
That this goes back to earlier this year, that you
Back to
asked
May,
that you
June.
could
the end of May.
red
Yes,
this
the great
ditch
all, the great all.
grade all.
Yep.
Because it's something that we haven't done in years.
Right.
It's done
There was
maintenance
probably
on
a
our
ditch there
ditches.
20 years ago, but over time they fill it in, and whoever owns the property, whoever had it before you, I'm sure they were all filled in. They're filled in because we used to plow with, we used a lot of sand, the ditches.
So everything that you did was a proactive approach to
Yep.
prevent
An
problems in
unsafe
the future.
condition with water onto the road during the winter time when the culverts freeze.
I can honestly tell you right now that you cannot pull off the side of the road. I can honestly tell you right now that a passenger in a vehicle that had to pull over the side of the road cannot get out of their vehicle there. It's a huge, huge safety issue. I've seen it for years on the side one, where they're turning to come to the mall. People are in my ditch every year.
Because they don't know how to drive in the winter time.
Well, I don't think that's an
But that-
accurate
that
statement.
entire-
Road conditions are a factor
That
also.
entire highway is a county road, right,
No.
Frank? No, it's a town road? And even the county roads don't have, they don't have wide shoulders like a state road.
I mean, if
Small
you've seen it and you've been by, you can understand our concern.
Yeah,
Well, I guess if you're so upset with us, you asked us to widen your driveway.
I didn't ask you to do anything,
You
Frank,
asked
let's
us to
get that
widen,
clear.
you asked us to widen your driveway.
No, I didn't ask you to do anything.
put it-
You offered that, you offered that,
We
you
put it-
offered whatever because of the mess that was there, that's what you offered. I didn't ask for anything, I asked you not to make an unbelievably huge ditch, you know,
You know what you would've had there? You would've had probably a little square box, that's probably 3 feet.
Perfect then,
No, it'd be.
perfect. We would've taken the little square box compared to the huge
No, well-
mess.
I mean, when Donnie Bob did this thing, he'd come talk to you, he'd explain it to you, I mean, you're so.
He didn't agree with it
I have no,
The culverts,
really,
all the ditches and culverts that we have throughout town are for storm water problems. The village has storm sewers,
Right.
so we can handle, the village, I'm sure, has built this based on honeydeer storms and stuff like that, like Binghamton has had 200-year storms in 6 years and flooded everybody's community, okay? So, there's reasons why that stuff happens, whether you haven't designed things correctly or you haven't maintained things correctly. Because you've never had a problem, doesn't mean you're not ever going to have a problem. Because of, when you do, like that's what I'm saying, I was an engineer. When you do, if Timmy was here, Roger was an engineer, when you design systems, you design them for, like I say, 100-year events. So we're all under 100 years old. We haven't seen, but we had a 100-year event with the ice storm. And MED, because they've designed their systems so well and have maintained them so well, Messina was like an island in an ocean. We didn't have electric poles falling down all over the place like everybody else did. What Frank did this year, for the first time in a long time, was try to do proactive maintenance on our ditches and culverts so that we don't have flooding that you can't control. Once you have the event,
Then shouldn't the
It's-
whole town have them? Why
Yeah,
doesn't Mr. Post have them? Why doesn't Tim
And there's
Post have
sitting
them?
water in a
All the
ditch
way
up by his
down.
house.
We worked on Tim Post's ditch down there.
But you didn't do anything, you didn't go across their yard.
We worked on, he called me, had an issue with one of the ditches on the other side of the driveway, we worked on that.
And
Okay.
it's still
I
there.
can't, I don't have, there's a limited
well,
amount of time.
right, we wouldn't be able to do
There's
the
a
whole
limited
town
amount
in
of
1
time
year.
that I work on
Oh.
ditches. I worked on
No
20
way.
other spots, so I worked on a total of 20 spots. It's all documented right here. It's all documented. And out of those 20, I got 19 happy people.
When have you ever drove down North Racket River Road?
I
I've been
don't-
there 10 years, and I drove it previously, because I'm in my 40s and I've lived here my whole life. When have you ever driven down North Racket River Road and there's water laying across the road right there?
I've seen it.
Never,
I've seen it.
never, because people who live there said they've never seen it.
I've seen it.
They've never seen it.
I have no reason.
Where have you seen it, Mr.
I have no
Rattay?
reason to lie about it.
My end?
No, the other.
Oh,
Okay.
oh, the other
I
end,
have-
correct, I'm sorry,
Yeah,
I should've
all right.
alluded to that to my
I have
end.
no reason to lie about it. What do I gain from lying?
I don't know, maybe it's an experience, I don't know, I just, if there was a mistake
It's
made,
what?
maybe it was an experience.
Okay, all right. We're, this is the last word, okay? I don't think that, you know, he as the highway superintendent is trying to hurt anyone. He's doing his job as he sees it, okay? I think, based on what I've seen, the documentation that he has and the documentation that you have, he's tried to do what he could do to rectify the situation, okay? So, again, this is a thing that we can continue to look at. If it has caused you problems,
Absolutely.
well, but, let me finish, please, Denise. That was not the intent, to cause you a problem.
And I
Right.
believe that sincerely, I do believe
Yeah,
that, I don't
it-
mean, I don't think he went out there and intentionally dug this
No,
usually,
No,
but I'm telling you, it's turned into a mess.
well,
We're not unreasonable, we're just asking for some kind of answers and some kind of help in resolving this.
Let-
But we feel better, you feel better, and this is over.
yeah, let me say, the last time you were here, I mean, I'm just speaking for me, right? We assumed that you had questions, but there were no questions asked. Why
I
you
will
at
be
that
honest,
meeting?
that was my first board meeting I've ever been to, and I can see there isn't a lot of people that come to them, more people should
Yeah,
care about
right.
this town.
Absolutely.
They should,
But-
I've learned more than I've ever wanted to know, probably.
But as far as, and again, I'm not privy to the conversations that you've had with others. Right, what I will say is, we will continue to monitor this as best we can, within the scope of his duties and our mandates to him to do these types of things. So, I mean, that's, unfortunately, that's where we have to leave it.
What about our property pins?
I was just gonna say, can we do something, we should probably do something about that.
Gonna have to hire a surveyor, if that's what you want.
That would make us feel much better there.
Frank, why don't you go ahead and find out what that costs?
What would that cost, you know, rough idea?
Never hired a, or.
Well, we look into that, get the cost, and we'll get back to you on that.
David Strack has it registered in his office, that was it.
That's who did it, the original
He
one.
can probably
2002.
reset it.
And are we gonna do anything with a safety issue there? I mean, or signs
said,
even.
we'll continue to monitor this as we go along. And again, Frank does this anyway. I've been with him on situations like this before.
So whose responsibility is it to maintain that now? Because the grass before was mowed, very well manicured. No one has ever handed Lee and I anything. We work very hard for what we have, as most people do. And who takes care of that now?
The residents do.
No, past the ditch?
Mhm.
I can't even get to it, to be honest with you. I can't mow it. There's just no way. There's no way we can mow it. So who does that now? I mean, now I just have to look at the eyesore all the time, or, I mean, how does this work now? Anybody?
Residents mow, typically,
I can show you examples of other ditches that are maintained by the residents.
In front of their homes that look like mine,
There's some
if you
people
let
that
me
do
know
it,
where those
and
are,
there's-
I'd love to see them.
905 and 1105 North Racket.
There's no ditches like that in front of mine.
Yes,
My
there is.
sister-in-law lives down the road.
I just stood in the ditch.
My
now.
sister-in-law is 1105.
Yeah, I'm telling you, there's a ditch there.
My
There's a catch-
sister-in-law, Debbie and Daryl Chase live there, that's
There's
my
a catch
sister and
basin in the
brother-in-law.
bottom of the ditch, that's how
All right,
deep it is.
let's get the price on the pin.
Yeah.
We continue
That's it.
dialogue. It's good that you came, expressed your feelings again, and, Ward will get back to you.
I appreciate your time, and please know we're not the enemy.
No,
We'll continue to live in the scene and pay taxes for as long as we can. Thank you.
thank you.
You get back to us though, is that what you said?
Okay, resolution to accept the minutes of 8/17/11, 9/7/11, and 9/13/11.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Carried.